Hello and welcome to this tutorial where we will explore how to use the MINIFS function in Excel. The MINIFS function in Excel is used to determine the smallest number within a range of values that meets one or multiple specified criteria. It is an extension of the min function, providing the additional capability to filter and analyze data according to specific conditions before calculating the minimum value. This function is particularly useful in situations where you need to find the minimum value in a dataset that corresponds to certain conditions, such as the lowest sales amount that exceeds a certain threshold, the minimum price from a particular supplier, or the earliest date after a certain event. The criteria for the MINIFS function can be based on numbers, text, and dates, allowing for a flexible and powerful way to perform conditional analysis on a set of data. So let's jump into the sheet. We see that the MINIFS function belongs to the group statistical, and it will return the minimum value among cells specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. The syntax is starting by MINIFS, open parentheses, then we type in the min range, the criteria of range 1, or our range where we can find the criteria. Then we type in the criteria and then we close the parentheses, or we go on by adding multiple criteria ranges and criteria afterwards. And yeah, how is it done, or what does it mean? Like I explained, the min range is the range of cells from which you determine the minimum, and criteria range 1, criteria 1, etc. are the ranges and criteria that define which cells are considered. I already did one example for Apple. So if our boss wants to have the minimum sales of Apple, we need to use the MINIFS function. And it's done like this. If you double click a cell, it will show you the ranges that are used to perform the calculation. And you see we are starting by the blue range, which is the min range. So the min range is actually the range where we want to get the minimum value from. In this case, we want the minimum sales. So we have to mark this range. Then the second thing in our calculation is the criteria range 1. So this is the range where we want to check a specific criteria. And if we want to have the sales of Apple, we need to check if the criteria is Apple, or if the condition is Apple. So we type in Apple, and we need to type it in phrases because it's a text format, and otherwise it won't work basically. If we hit enter, we see we come to $300. And if we have a look into our data, Apple has sales of $300 right here and another one right here, but the minimum sales is 300, so it seems to be correct. Now we can do the same for Amazon. We start by an equal sign followed by min ifs open parentheses. Then we need the min range. So we want the minimum sales. So we mark the column sales followed by a semicolon. Then the criteria range. So the range that we want to check. This is column D, followed by a semicolon again. And then the criteria in this case is Amazon, because we want to have the minimum sales of Amazon. We start by a phrase, type in Amazon, and we close the parentheses. We hit enter, and we are coming to 100. Let's have a look if this can be correct. So we see Amazon right here has sales of 800, right here 500, 200, and 100. Okay. Seems to be correct. The minimum sales of Amazon is 100. But now we can also add another criteria if we want to check multiple values. So we just go back to our formula, and instead of stopping right here with the closed parentheses, we go on by a semicolon. And now we will define criteria range 2. So if we want, for example, just the minimum sales, if a customer ordered a specific quantity of products, we can just mark the quantity column as well. And let's say they should, or we just want to have a look at orders that contain 3 products. So we follow by 3, and then we hit enter, and we see okay, for Amazon, we just have, one order with 3 products, but it will give us the minimum value of 200. If we would have more values inside of this data, it will of course show you the minimum sales nevertheless. But we can also do, for example, if we want to have a look at just orders with, let's say, more than 2 products, we can do this by adding a phrase, then followed by bigger sign, then by 2, then we close the phrase. So actually it shouldn't show 100 now because we're saying bigger than 2, and it should start with 200 because this is the minimum sales of Amazon with a quantity larger than 2. So if we get to 200, this formula works out perfectly. We'd enter, works. We can also do it, for example, if we want to have just large orders, we can of course add it to bigger than 5, and then it's 800 because here the quantity is bigger than 5, so it matches this criteria, and the customer is Amazon, so the minimum sales of all this criteria matched is $800. We can do the same for Google again. We start by an equal sign, then followed by minifs, open parenthesis. We start by the min range, which is again sales, or we can now start with the quantity if we want to have the smallest quantity of products that Google ordered. Then the criteria range is our customers again, and we want to just have a look into Google. We are closing the parentheses, and if we've done it correctly, it should be 4 because Google ordered 5 products right here, 7 right here, and 4 right here. So if we get to 4, this should be correct. And yeah, we get to 4. Of course, now it's in an accounting format, so we can change this to a number. And we see, that Google has a minimum quantity ordered of 4. I hope you liked this video. It helped you. If it helped you, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow, and see you in the next video.